G'day guys and welcome back today to the Freo Faithful YouTube channel. 2 consecutive W's, baby. Noah, you were at the game. Welcome back to the pod. How good does it feel?
Thank you, mate. I was at the game and it felt bloody good, especially considering it got a bit tense at the end, didn't it? And we finally come away from a tense one with the 4 points as opposed to the 0. So yeah, felt very, very good. Lots of positives. Certainly our best performance of the season across the 4 quarters. Thought it was a really, really professional win. And as we said after that 0-2 start, let's not go into panic stations. We've evened the ledger. Now let's kick on from here.
Yeah, it's funny how quickly it swings around. After the West Coast win, I didn't really know how much it didn't excite me at all, to be honest, because West Coast are a shambles. So to beat the Dogs, who have been a really competitive side so far this year in all their games, who are 2-1, they only narrowly lost to a massive crowd at the MCG against Collingwood, which is, no skin off their back or whatever the saying is. It was good to get the win, and like you said, a late win to hold on and get out to that early lead. It was nice to get the dub. Who impressed you most? What do you think were the main stories to come out of the game, young Noah?
Who impressed me most? I mean, it would be very remiss of me not to mention our vice captain, Caleb Serong. I mean, this guy is... I didn't think he could get any better, to be honest. Back-to-back All-Australian years, and he's looking pretty prime for a third, only 4 weeks in. He is looking in astonishing shape. Those first 2 weeks, we just simply could not get our contest right. We sporadically got it right against Sydney, but it wasn't consistent enough. And I thought against West Coast, in a performance where I wasn't a total fan of it, I think one thing we did perfectly with the contest, I thought we got on top really nicely, and I think with that contest being at its best against the Bulldogs, mixing in with, the back six and the front six sort of clicking a bit more, I thought provided us with a really good performance overall, and Caleb Serong was the catalyst for that. He broke the single game Fremantle clearance record last year against the Bulldogs about this time in the season, and he's nearly just done it again. 15 clearances off 38 disposals. The guy is an absolute joke, so I'd certainly say Caleb Serong was Fremantle's best on. Just quickly, Sam Darcy was the best on ground. Undebatedly, that guy's an absolute freak, and Alex Pearce got made to look like a B grader, which he just certainly isn't at times. Quick shout out to Sam Darcy. And one other guy I want to give a big shout out to is a man that we've criticised his defensive abilities, and he was a bit vanilla in the first 2 weeks. We keep using the vanilla word. It's Luke Ryan. I think his...
Oh, I thought you were going somewhere else with that.
I know where you think I was going. We'll get onto him a bit later. Luke Ryan, his ball usage in the past 2 weeks has been the reason why we've started winning football games. He started taking the inside options. He's our main user off halfback. Him and Heath Chapman really, really got going with the ball usage from the back half on the weekend. So we're super happy with Lukey, and I thought that was his best defensive game in ages.
Yeah, the second half of Luke Ryan, it was just like he was everywhere, stopping attacks, making stoppages. Defensively, so strong. So that was great to see him get back to his defensive best. I think we actually defended Sam Darcy pretty well. Like, there's only so much you can do when he's like 3 centimeters shorter than Aaron Sandilands was.
Yeah.
And Sandilands would take 2 days to do a 180-degree turn. Like, this guy... I've started hearing comparisons to, like, he's the Victor Wembanyama of the AFL.
Yeah.
Like, so tall but so skilled. He can do it all. I think he kicked the first goal of the day with a mark 1-on-1 against Alex Pearce. Then he went into the middle and won clearances. He was cleaning up at ground level. Like, yeah, so happy that we don't have to... Do we play the Dogs again? Maybe we do later.
We played them last round for Marvel.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm happy that we don't have to play him again until then, because he is an absolute joke of a player. But overall, I think we defended him pretty well. I think the biggest story of the game that is sort of being forgotten about a bit is that it was Andrew Brayshaw's 150th game. Like, he's 25 years old, already played 150 games. Andrew Brayshaw symbolises... He is the Freo Dockers rebuild and the hope of the club. Like, pretty much our whole narrative as a football club turned around when we drafted Andrew Brayshaw. He was probably my best on ground on the weekend. I know Serong had 38 disposals and a ridiculous amount of clearances, but the gears that he goes to when he's running, like he'll do a chase down tackle, put pressure on a ball carrier or whatever, and then when the ball's turned over, it's like he accelerates to another gear, gets rewarded. He got rewarded with a goal in the second quarter. I think he really got the games on our terms in that first half. It was we did well to stay in that game because they had more inside 50s, more field position, but I thought we sort of battled really well around the ground, and that was led by Andrew Brayshaw, who kept intercepting the ball, high meters gained. It was his toughness again, his tackling. We absolutely love this guy. So Serong and Brayshaw, the two vice captains, and Alex Pearce stood up, the captain, at vital points of the game as well. So the midfield connection's back, which we like to see, and a guy that was running through the midfield a little bit, he was running through the midfield a little bit, is Shai Bolton, who had his best game in purple, sat on Rory Lobb's lobster head and flew to the heavens. If he had taken that mark of the year, you might as well have just wrapped it up there and then, because that was just incredible that someone has that much athleticism to get up that high, land like it's nothing. And then Murphy Reid with the handball over the head gives it to Michael Frederick. And those three in particular, our high half forwards, or, they're sort of all capable of moving up the ground, but they were super impressive for us. What do you think of those three?
I don't think I've ever screamed louder at the football than when Shai Bolton got up on
squealed.
I did not. Okay.
Testy pop.
I just simply did not squeal. Anyone who was sitting in my block can vouch for me. That's an unbelievable accusation. Yeah, Shai really clicked into gear on Sunday. He played a little bit less midfield, and I think it was a really nice mix, because with him playing less midfield time, it was sort of a bit more of a surprise whenever he rolled through there, and he gave us something so different. He's sort of a mix of a see-ball, get-ball midfielder and also an outside runner. He's got that really, really nice sort of dynamism to his game, which is beautiful. And
what was that word?
Dynamism.
That's definitely not a word.
Dynasism. Dynamism.
I'm searching it up right now.
Yeah, go on. I'll keep going.
Wait,
get back to me.
How do you spell it? Dynasism.
D-Y-N.
Yep.
A-C.
Yep.
I-S-M.
Dynasism.
Yep.
I think you're trying to say dynamism.
No, it's dynamism, mate.
It's just not a word, bro.
Yeah, I'm trying to justify it.
He's a dynamic player, yes.
He's a very dynamic footballer. To be fair, dynamism's an elite word. I think we might have to use that in future pods.
Oh, God.
Yeah, but Shai is a very dynamic player. We'll put it that way. When he was in his front half, I mean, we sort of just started to see the Shai Bolton that we traded for. I saw a tweet today of the trade that Richmond Fremantle one's turning into. And I think Richmond got Luke Traynor, Jonty Fall, and Taj Hodham. We've ended up with Murphy Reid, Shai Bolton, and a future third. So, to be honest, there's no loser in that trade. I mean, we're getting Shai in the premiership window when Richmond probably didn't have a use for him anymore. Murphy Reid's turning into, for a lot of last year, he was expected to be a top 5 pick, and he's certainly showing those capabilities for right now. A bit of a Michael Barlow debut season on the cards. And that third round pick, who knows what's going to happen. And Richmond will be happy with what they got on their end too. Shai Bolton really clicked into gear on Sunday in the front half. Just such electricity. I mean, Murphy Reid, this guy, I don't think we're ever going to stop speaking about him. He is just absolutely unbelievable. He's played 4 AFL games. He is 18 years of age. This guy is on a different scale. His composure, his footy smarts, and I think a lot of the time clubs get too caught up in leg speed and the athletic nature of players. We've just gone for a footy player here. Like, he's not necessarily the quickest. But he's a very hard-working player. He's a great ball user. He knows how to get in the right positions. And he's not a soft player.
Yeah, you say he's not a soft player. Like, one of his most impressive attributes so far has been his toughness. The play where we get that last goal is all of his hard work up the ground to beat a 2-on-1 contest. I can't remember who it was, but gets around someone laying a shepherd, lays a bump and just knocks it over, like just works it up the line and then finishes with the goal. And we saw against West Coast his one-on-one ability as well, whether he soccers the ball out a little bit further to make another contest. Like, yeah, he's just such a smart player. And yeah, obviously there's been high raps on him. JL in the media has been saying how much he spends time working with Jamie Graham, who I think is our forwards coach. Is he our forwards coach, Jamie Graham, or midfield? Yeah. And JL, like, he's literally just in their office, like, picking their brains about how to be a better player. So he's got all the tools. And he hasn't got a Rising Star nom yet, but he's sort of been spoken about as the favourite to win the Rising Star, sort of between him and Lawler, which is incredible that we got him with the pick 17, and we've spoken about it a lot. One that you didn't touch on there was Michael Frederick, who kicked 3 goals in the first half. Really strong overhead again. He weirdly, this is probably a terrible call, but he weirdly marks the ball like Sam Darcy in terms of he sort of just sits under it and like leaps just vertically and extends his arms.
Get that on the IG reels. You are going to get absolutely smoked for that. I get what you're saying, but
he uses his long reach overhead to advantage is what I'm... I'm not saying he's like a Sam Darcy type player, but like he's not like a Josh Tracy or a Luke Jackson that has a run and a jump sort of diagonally. I'm chatting shit here, but you get what I mean. He had a very impressive first half. And yeah, we were sort of crying out early in the season for these small forwards to bring the pressure. Shai Bolton, his second goal came as a result of his own pressure and then running forward, getting a reward, going bang from 50. I can't remember a Freo player having the confidence to have a shot from that. Like, that just didn't make sense to go in, to tackle, run, get rewarded, go bang from 50. And then the celebration had so much passion in it as well, which I loved. But yeah, the small and high half forwards are looking good. Isaiah Dudley had another good game, kicked a really nice little check side goal off a step. Just looks really calm and composed on the ball. You expect Sam Switkowski to come back in. Is it this week?
It's this week, yeah.
Okay. So, yeah, look, Switter's been a good player for us for a long time. Probably provides a little bit of leadership in the front half, but I don't know, it's not broken. So like, I'm not mad if they give Switter more time to, pick up his loads and get back to his 100%. Maybe he's already at 100%, but Isaiah Dudley's holding it down for now. Maybe Switter just provides a little bit more pressure, which we would prefer. But yeah, that's the small forwards for you. I was watching the fan cams on the way home from the live stream. There is a video out of me reacting to the whole game, by the way, if anyone wants to view my lens through the game. But people were saying like, oh, we got the Dogs on a bad day. We're lucky, all this and that. It's like, we have just won a high caliber game of football. Like, our pressure was what made the Dogs turn the ball over. That back end of the second quarter where we kicked 6 goals in the blink of an eye or whatever it was. Like, we had goals from kick-ins, goals from stoppages, goals from turnover. Goals straight out of the middle. Jeremy Sharp got rewarded. So many great moments. And then, hopping on the fan cams and some people were like, oh, we caught the Dogs on an off day. Like, nah. Like, that second quarter, the attacking was as good as I've seen it ever. Like, just so nice to watch.
I think the really promising thing, especially about that second quarter, was... I heard you speaking about on the True Footy stream how that was just our football coming together and our system just actually clicking for a period of time. I'm on the opposite end of the scale. I think that was such a good quarter because I don't think that was necessarily our system to a T. I think our ball movement in an ideal system is going to be a lot cleaner, and there's going to be some far more clean forward 50 entries, hitting Tracy up, hitting Amos up. I think that was just as a result of adapting to the game that presented us. The pressure was elite. The tools halved contests. The smalls got to work. And I thought that second quarter was such a good step forward in our game as a whole. I can see it really evolving. And I think what was so professional about that performance as a whole was all 4 quarters were a different challenge. I thought the first quarter, the Bulldogs were probably the better team, but we were really clinical in front of goal, which is a very un-Fremantle-like thing. The second quarter, we were on top. It came from pressure and D50 turnovers and forward 50 turnovers. It was just score from turnover all over the ground was probably the best I've seen it ever for the Dockers. That's our 3rd highest scoring half in the past 10 years. The third quarter, it was a bit even. It was more of a traditional football match. And that fourth quarter, we were obviously down to, I'm not sure how many rotations, because Champion Data had a little bit of a bug, but we were down to low rotations. We had Wags off, we had Jackson off, and we had I think John sat for a bit, and Noddy was off. So low rotations, not many players ready to come on, and I thought we slowed the game down fantastically. It was a really, really professional victory that you'd expect from a good team. I thought that go back to the Neapolitan that we were speaking about a couple of weeks ago. That second quarter was the strawberry we've been dying for. And that fourth quarter was very, very happily vanilla because we needed it to be. We needed to slow the game down. Our guys were absolutely out of breath. Jai Amos was cramping up all over the ground, but he was just working so hard to halve contests. Paddy Voss competed in the ruck as well as you could have. Josh Draper and Alex Pearce had massive fourth quarters. And then you've obviously got Murphy Reid, who just looked like a new player out there in the fourth quarter. So I thought it was a really professional victory from the lads, from skill to work rate. And just overall, I saw a real involvement in our game.
Yeah, 100%. Well said. Just, yeah, it was so nice to hold on. I know we sort of held on from the hard work of the second quarter. Like, we held that lead and sort of just saw it through. Would have been nice to see us kick away a little bit, but the Dogs were there to play. We did so well to shut down guys that have looked so good this season. Bailey Dale off half back. When he gets the ball in his hands, he is one of the most damaging halfbacks in the competition. Tom Liberatore, when he gets his head over the ball and starts finding the footy, there's not many better contested beasts in the comp. So, like, to shut those guys down, obviously you can't stop a player like Sam Darcy, but yeah, I was super impressed by that. Super impressed about how tough we were late in the game. You know that sort of formula to win games late is like repeat stoppages, keep the ball in the contest. You don't want to let it get to the outside, because it was the outside where they were having success throughout the day with guys like Sam Davidson and Joel Frazier, 2 new kids on the scene who had good games. Yeah, I don't really know what you mean by like that second quarter wasn't the Freo system clicking. Like, I feel like if our centre clearance game, like if we can get on top of that, that's exactly what we want to be doing. Like, we want to be scoring from centre clearance. And it reminded me of the D's versus Bulldogs game, the grand final at Optus, when the D's just went bang, bang, bang. And like, that's the cherry on top. That's what it felt like. Like, we brought the strong contest and pressure in that second quarter. We defended well. And then, yeah, you win centre bounces and you have those guns in attack. And it just felt like, yeah, I was very happy with it. Obviously, you're happy with it. But, yeah, I think that is the next level for our game to go to. When we get on top of centre clearances, we start to get the reward. Because for too long, yeah, we have struggled for goals, but not anymore. Not with Murphy Reid, Shai Bolton, and Michael Frederick contributing like they did. Tracy, I think, kicked 3, just a quiet little 3-piece for JT. And there's criticism, well, not criticism, but I know Freo fans who sort of question Jai Amos, and I think it's fair given the caliber of player he is touted to be, and I believe will be. But just his ability to compete in that fourth quarter when we were battling hard, going long down the line, he was always that target for us. Going up against Lob for most of the day, just halving contests, making stoppages, taking some big marks. Like, yeah, he might not have hit the scoreboard on the day, but around the ground, I thought he did his job really well. And I feel like, he's had 2 seasons where he's kicked like 40 and 36 goals. Not a bad 2 first years in the league at all. He's got a lot of levels to evolve in his game, but I feel like before the emergence of Tracy and Jackson, Amos sort of came onto the scene as a forward that played higher up the ground, and now he's our deepest lying forward, which is like when we're going long down the line late in game, like he's our, they call it the beacon, like the player that is pretty much our most forward man. Like it's hard to really get involved in games when you're that player. But in games like the one against West Coast, he gets rewarded with 4 goals because, you know, we can run out the game, get the ball to him more often. But in a tough game like this, his role was to just make a contest higher up the ground when we were defending so deep. So I think, Jai Amos, although he only scored 1 goal for the day, I think he really competed well, which is all you can ask. And for the chat about, like, you know, should he go back to the waffle like we were talking about, I think upon reflection, Jai Amos is a player that is so important for our system and our future that he almost needs to figure it out at the AFL level.
Yeah, I think in the grand scheme of things, the bottom line is that Jai Amos still hasn't played that much football with Josh Tracy at his best. Like, while Josh Tracy's been the anchor, it's only been a year and a bit. Like, Tracy only kicked into gear to what we're currently seeing about round 6, round 7 last year. So Amos is still very much a learning player in this system. And as you said, he's playing as the deepest forward. And sometimes he doesn't use his body as he needs to, or he doesn't get in the right positions. But he's 21 years of age. He's learning a new forward role in a new forward system that we've had to sort of build around Josh Tracy since his emergence. And I think he's only going to get better with time. And I agree with, you know, the chat about we were having a couple of weeks ago about Jai maybe going back down to the waffle. You know, he got those 4 goals against West Coast. That would have been a confidence booster, and I'm sure that would have plagued his mind when he was competing till the final siren on Sunday. So, yeah, I like Jai's game, and I agree. He's sort of a guy that he runs off confidence, and he's going to need to figure it out at AFL level for the better of our club. One thing I want to point out is I was talking in the preview during the week about the Bulldogs' main threat, and it was their ability to spread. They've got so many hard workers that get it out wide, then hit you through the middle. And in the first quarter, Riley West, Latham Vandermeer, Sam Davidson, these types were getting out wide. They were spreading the game, and they were hitting us through the corridor, and we weren't defending it very well. But I thought the adjustment in the final 3 quarters was absolutely fantastic. Whether it was the players or the coaching staff or a combination, I thought we really mitigated what the Bulldogs' main strength was, and we hit them on turnover off that sort of spread and run and gun football. So I thought in terms of adaptability, again, it's in the evolvement of our game. And I'm just really happy that we're not just, you know, picking up results, you know, banking the 4 points, you know, again, those wins where we say a win's a win. I'm really taking a lot of positives out of Sunday.
Yeah, I just had to search up if evolvement was a word. And it is a noun that generally means the process of developing. So
Thanks, mate.
I can't say anything there. What we did see in the first half in particular was Chapman getting higher up the ground using the ball. Thank you. We've been crying out for this all season. Biting off inside kicks, putting himself in the middle of the ground to be used. Great. Happy to see that. That is, like this was obviously our best game of the season. And big shock, Heath Chapman has a big role to play in moving the ball forward. Josh Draper was very strong. Brendan Cox's best game of the season. There was moments that he lost out. Or not even like by his own fault, to be honest. Like that Norton goal, I think Norton only kicked one for the day, but it came off a turnover where we were sort of trying to move the ball forward and he got caught out. And that, who was it? James Harms, that goal from the pocket. You know, my brother's just been messaging me saying like, he could have run harder, he could have been there. But in my mind, it's like you almost push him to that boundary side and go like, yeah, if you want to try chance it from here, good luck. And he just hit it perfectly. What did you make of Chapman, Draper and Cox? Because we've been speaking about this big back mix and it seemed to work on Sunday night.
Yeah, well, Jay was speaking about in the post-game presser how late on he thought Draper was giving us the best contest in the ruck when, you know, we didn't have a ruck on the ground. And he was also giving us the best contest behind the ball when he was sort of saying he could have done with 22 Josh Drapers out there. Like, the guy is so incredibly versatile, and I thought he was giving us such a good opportunity to halve every contest in the final term. He was getting the ball in the right positions. There was one where I'm not sure if it was luck or whatnot. I couldn't really see it from where I was, but he sort of flicked the ball up and chucked it onto the wing. It was just so smooth. He's a very, very smooth footballer for his size, and he's also a fierce battler. So, yeah, I thought Josh Draper's game yesterday was fantastic, and he just continues to solidify himself in this 22. Let's get on to Brennan Cox. If you've watched every podcast this season, my man, I've been a bit of a critical person on Brennan Cox. I was so happy with this guy on Sunday. We put him in positions to succeed. And this is what I've been saying. We've been playing Cox in these silly one-on-one situations where he keeps being beaten by his man because, in my honest opinion, he's not big enough and he's not good enough to be a one-on-one defender. He is our interceptor. He's the guy you play spare. And we played Draper and Pearce man-on-man for most of the day. And we had Cox floating across. We put him in the right positions. And he played absolutely fantastically. And more of that. And the more propaganda I'll push for Brennan Cox to be a certified best 22 player. Super happy with Cox's game. I thought he competed really well. And I thought by being put in those positions, he grew in confidence throughout the game. And I thought he won a couple one-on-one contests late when there were so many people fatigued on the field. So, yeah, loved Cox's game, certainly. I want to get on to Chappie because, yeah, we have been speaking about it. This is your man. You've been big on Chappie all throughout the season. You don't just want him to be a role player. He was subbing round one, this guy. Like, if we get to later in the season and, we're flying or whatever and Heath Chapman's one of our best players, we won't be surprised and we'll look back to round one like, what the actual fuck were we doing? Heath Chapman is substitute. Like, that is just absolutely baffling. And we're starting to play him in a far more important role. And he's getting plaudits as well. Chappie, in the 8 things we learned on afl.com.au, he was the Freo piece. His ball movement off halfback, the daring kicks. And it's not something we always have to, pull off, but just to have that in our arsenal is so important. To have a couple guys back there, since Hayden Young's moved into the midfield, we've struggled to replace that half back line with a damaging kick into the corridor that really gets our forward transition going. And if Heath Chapman can be that guy, as well as, Luke Ryan starting to shift his mindset, I think we're going to be held in really good stead.
Yeah, very well said about, having to fill that void. It's crazy to think, thinking back, Hayden Young was a defender. Now that he's such a prominent midfielder, it's funny to think he used to be in our back six. But yeah, I think Chapman is the guy to sort of fill that void. And I just don't think we've seen him be used enough in an attacking plight. Now you can try to fact check me out if I use that word.
Keep going.
Yeah, nah. All right. I need to search this up for myself now. It's been a big day.
Hold up.
Dangerous, difficult, or otherwise unfortunate situation. Does that work? Attacking plight. If you use him in a difficult... Yeah, I reckon. If you use him in a difficult situation. He is a player that you want to... I don't know. I'm chatting shit.
Yep.
It's been a big day. Injuries. So happy days. Good win. Go to the Dockers. Looking like Luke Jackson's going to be out for 1 to 2 to 3 weeks. We just can't get Darcy and Jackson on the park at the same time. They are a proton and a proton that, like batteries and that, when you try to join them together and they sort of just...
What does the neutron do? Where's the neutron come into it?
I don't know. But maybe Liam Reedy's the neutron. Maybe he just...
We're about to see Liam Reedy absolutely tear Toby Nankervis to shreds in the Barossa on Sunday.
Oh, don't say that. Do not say that. Toby Nankervis is a great player, and it's not a good game to lose Luke Jackson, because we didn't even speak about Luke Jackson there, but he was phenomenal.
I'm so sorry if the Luke Jackson family is watching this. Dogga was unbelievable. The way he competed around the ground, the form he's in at the moment is the best form he's been in since he's been at Freo, especially these past couple of weeks. And even in those first 2 quite poor losses, I thought he was still one of our better guys. So, yeah, been super happy with Dogga's start to the season. And, at the moment, you can probably make a case from being one of the best rucks in the league, and now we're going to go chuck him in the forward line, and he can give us an extra sort of athletic option down there. So, yeah, we're super lucky to have him, but from the sounds of it, we'll probably get him back around the Adelaide game in round 7.
I'm not surprised that he has been injured with the way that he plays the game. He throws himself at everything. He competes for four quarters. He covers so much ground. Like, I remember watching him in the preseason game against Melbourne. Like, how does this guy just not end up injured all the time? Because he just throws himself at every single contest. And he has been probably the best ruck in the AFL this year, up there with Tristan Cherry. I would prefer
Cherry
Jackson,
sucks this year, I'll be honest. Cherry is sucks.
Dill raves on about him, and he seems to know what he's talking about, so I just buy his word. But, like, yeah, he's in that, TDK. I went to the G and watched Collingwood-Carlton last week, and TDK, despite Carlton being shit, is a very exciting player. So, yeah, hopefully Dogger's not out for too long. And, coming back for that Adelaide game is probably perfect timing, because the next 2 weeks, we're not going to write off Richmond and the D's, but two sides that we should beat regardless of whether we have Jackson or not. And it does give a good opportunity for Liam Reedy to come back in and show, he is a strong player, but Paddy Voss has been competing well as the second ruck. So maybe Reedy just comes in, we give Darcy another week to get back to 100%, and then once Darcy's back in, he's at 100% for a long time, and he doesn't have to keep dropping in and out of the side. But yeah, I think the whole Darcy Jackson thing, like, the flexibility to have two of the best ruckmen in the comp, if they can get to that point, or if Darcy can get to that point. We know Jackson can get there, but if we can see like that 2022 Sean Darcy again and implement that with Luke Jackson, I don't know what the argument is about the Darcy Jackson thing. Like, obviously they're both on big money or whatever, but we've seen Jackson's ability to drift back in defence and take intercept marks and go forward and take big marks down the line, take big marks at the top of the goal square. So I think that's a massive headache, especially with the mobility of Luke Jackson. But yeah, he will be out, it's looking like, so that is unfortunate. We got Corey Wagner out with a calf. Sad to see, because we've liked what we've seen from Corey Wagner, but he'll take some time. Calves aren't usually too. He's
re-aggravated it. However, that was the one he had a bit of tightness with that he missed the West Coast game with. So that is the concerning thing. If it was a standalone injury, I wouldn't be as concerned, but the fact it's a re-aggravation, I'm not completely, at bay with it.
But for every cloud, there is a silver lining. And this could be where Cooper Simpson finds himself playing for the Dockers in a role that we didn't see coming. Because he has been playing down at Peel as a rebounding small defender and has been absolutely tearing it up. His form's been unreal. JL has been super impressed. And I think it's about time we see Cooper Simpson in the side again. It's been too long. You need to introduce these players into the AFL side at some point. Injury is obviously the opportunity for that to happen. Brandon Walker's out. Corey Wagner's out. Cooper Simpson's been playing small defender in the Waffle and has bucket loads of talent. Do you think he could come in this week?
Cooper Simpson.
Or is it just James Aish? Yeah. Or is it just like...
If I was at the selection table, I absolutely would be. I was actually speaking to some family earlier today where all of the Cooper Simpson opinion that he should be in the team. But get ready. James Aish will be in that 22 on Sunday. Absolutely, I think. I don't think
Cooper Simpson.
I don't think JL will go there, to be honest, unfortunately. But I do sort of see the merit behind it. He's played one proper Waffle game at halfback. It would be a massive, massive task to throw him into an AFL game. That being said, it's Richmond, and yes, it would be an okay game to sort of chuck him in, to give him a go. But we just need the 4 points. We can't take any risks. And we've spoken about so much. James Aish has never put a foot wrong for this club. Like, let's not just pass up on him now. He's not ancient. He's 29 years of age. Should be in the prime of his career right now. I thought that one quarter he came on against West Coast was really, really serviceable. And look, Cooper Simpson on the weekend in Peel's draw against Claremont, 30 disposals, 4 marks. He absolutely racked up the ball. He was sort of that accumulator. But then in terms of, how much he racked up the ball, I do wonder, is it a bit samey off halfback? I think Wagner gives us a bit of defensive stability, in a way. I think Simpson and Clark on the same half back line. Are we going a bit thin? So that's why I think Aish will play. But Cooper Simpson, I'm sure will get a gig this year. I'm loving the look of him.
Yeah, I suppose Carl Warner just comes in, Aish goes sub. It's probably the more realistic option. But I do want to see Cooper Simpson in this side sooner rather than later because he's got bucket loads of talent. I thought he was like real short, but he's like 180. So he's like my height. So he's not tiny.
It's a real short, yeah.
Hey, come on, brother. Come on. Just because you're a year 12 man child.
Right.
Like, you can't be coming at me like that. But Young should be back in. You expect him to play.
Yes. I do expect him to play. Nathan O'Driscoll is the one that may make way. He sounded the most promising out of all the injuries. It just sounded like a rolled ankle. I think if he gets through main training, he should be okay. Fingers crossed. I'd probably give it a 70-30 at the moment that he plays. If Drizzy does go out, Young will be the straight swap for him. If not, I'm giving it, from what I've heard, 95% that Young plays this week. You'd think a guy like Bailey Banfield, who hasn't necessarily been playing pure forward this season, will probably exit the team. And I think, again, that would just give us so much of if we haven't already had a dynamic mix this season, Nathan O'Driscoll and Hayden Young in that same midfield, if we get the chance to deploy that this weekend, how exciting is that going to be?
Yeah. Bailey Banfield, I've been critical of. I thought he had a really good game against the Dogs, so, good to see. Injuries. One thing that JL said that I sort of want to close out on, we can discuss the Richmond game briefly, I suppose, but it's a banana peel. They've got a lot of talent in that side, even though they lost to Brisbane and never sort of looked like winning it. They competed well, and Gather Round can throw up some weird results. So I wouldn't be putting a line through Richmond by any means. Sam Lawler's looking really good. Turby Nankervis is a great ruck. We just got to bring that heat and show that young side what a good young side is, because we are also still a young side. And then we got the D's. So 2 away games in a row, followed by the Crows. But yeah, one thing that JL said that sort of resonated me on AFL 360 tonight, he said, we have shown every week that we are closing the gap between our best and worst. So if you think of round 1, massive gap between the best and worst. Our worst was terrible, and our best, we had that third quarter with Murphy Reid and kicked 6 goals in quick succession. Then we played Sydney. Pressure wasn't really there. It was just a weird game, but better. And then West Coast we improved, and then Dogs we improved again. So we are seeing improvements week on week, which is good. And yeah, that consistency of bringing our best footy, that is there. So I just wanted to add that at the end there.
Yeah, absolutely. I think I'll watch the 360 interview after this. Going back to the Richmond game, yeah, absolutely a banana peel. I mean, it's going to be, again, we've just come off a very tiring game of football. It's going to be 32 degrees in the Barossa on Sunday. It's going to be very dry. It's going to be very hot. It's going to be tiring. So the players will have to dig in yet again. And yeah, I think Richmond have some real strengths. I think West Coast have been a bad team this season without really competing for majority of the games. I think Richmond have really competed every game bar one, including that win against Carlton. So yeah, the Tigers, certainly, I'd give them a shot. We're obviously going to come in heavy favourites. But as you said, Gather Round can toss up anything. They've got some really nice young talent coming through that I'm sure will be ready to step up to the occasion. Toby Nankervis, I think, could be an area where Richmond really try and focus on in this game, especially if Liam Reedy gets chucked in there. Let's be honest, Reedy's going to be given a bath, and that is the way that Richmond could maybe try and even out the contest. In a contest that will be expected to win. So, yeah, it's going to be a really interesting game. We'll come in as favourites, but I think we've just got to stay level-headed throughout the week and not get caught up in the things that might force us to lose.
You're off to Gather Round.
Yep.
How excited are you? You're G'd up. You're going to go watch the Dockers play. You're going to go to the open training, I'm sure, and get a photo with whoever the frick is there.
No.
How are you feeling?
I won't be going to open training. It is in...
Oh, what the hell, man?
No, you'd never guess right. So every other AFL club has their open training on a Wednesday, Thursday or Friday. the Fremantle Football Club, in the most dockery thing I've ever seen, we are training 12:30 p.m. on a Saturday in a town 40 minutes outside of the Barossa. Not even the main Barossa Oval. Well, I think Tanunda Oval is the name of it. So if anyone from Fremantle is watching, unless you can sort me transport to and from, I will not be attending the Dockers Open training. I hate to say it.
If someone at Freo is watching this, get Noah to Taronga. # get Noah to Taronga.
Taronga. Isn't Taronga a zoo? Jeez.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't mind that though. Little captain's run the day before. Keep it low key. Stay away from the limelight. Go there. Get the business done. See you later. Because last year's gather round was a nightmare.
Yeah, exactly. Also, it's Monday. Just a quick little thing. I'm expecting a gather round jumper will have been released by now. I'm a bit angry that there's been nothing. If we're just gonna rock up in the normal old purple and white chevrons, I'm not gonna be very happy. I want to see us get a bit stealthy on Sunday. So that's another thing the Dockers need to sort out. But yeah, overall quite keen. We've had some very interesting gather round memories. The first gather round, I remember Matt Johnson kicked his first goal. We kicked the winner against the Suns, and that was actually our first win of the season. Maybe our second. It may have come off a derby. It may have been our first win of the season, but we weren't tracking well, and we went and got a good win over Gold Coast at Norwood Oval. And then last year, prefer not to speak about it, to be honest. That was. Look, if we were running the channel then, I would love to see what the fan cams would have looked like, because that would have been box office. Yeah, so...
all that happened to me after that, I just couldn't say anything except for Freo were robbed for about 12 hours straight. I just got caught in a loop.
Yeah, it was like the Matrix, mate. So yeah, it wasn't a fun gathering experience last year, but we're heading out to the Sticks this year in the Barossa, and it's going to be a lot of fun. Hopefully the boys don't get too caught up in everything, it's just another game. It's worth the same amount of points as every other game. Gather rounds for the fans, mostly. They'll be the ones that sort of relish in the opportunity to see all 18 teams around. But the players, I'm hoping, stick to the process and get the 4 points on Sunday.
Beautiful. Oppo View will be out at some point this week. Are you going to do the preview before you go? You're going to get that done and uploaded, or are you going to do it over there?
I'm going to do it from outside the Adelaide Oval, I've decided. So yeah.
Hell yeah. Fun. Beautiful. Nice. Look forward to it. And then, yeah, fan cams. I should be running. Again, still trying to work through some issues with it from my end, but they will be up Sunday Arvo, nice and early. And yeah, happy days. Gather round is upon us, and we are back in the hunt for whatever is to come in season 2025. Thank you guys for listening to the podcast. If you guys are new, make sure to hit subscribe to follow Freo's fan channel, the Freo Faithful. Leave a like on the video, get in the comments. And if you're listening on audio platforms, leave a 5-star review. We appreciate you watching, and we'll see you in the next one.